Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage, and the Benz is back once again. This time I'm going to take a look at the SLS system on this car. The SLS system means self-leveling system. The SLS is a system that works on the rear axle. The system reminds me a lot of Citroen's, but this is only on the rear axle. What it does is that this is the ride height. If you watch the previous video on this, I don't remember if I showed you, but it was all the way down. That is not supposed to be like that. The reason for that was that it was lacking hydraulic fluid. I filled some fluid in and the system rised like this. But there's a problem with it. We have a leak in the system. I need to take care of that. The owner of this car has used many liters of hydraulic fluid, which is quite expensive because it's some special stuff, and he would like to get it fixed. It is drivable when it collapses, but it's really low at the rear. The system is supposed to have this ride height all the time. If you fill the car completely up with people and luggage and all that, it is supposed to ride at this height all the time. But as I told you, the system is not working. And to be honest, this is not the first time that I work on the SLS system on this car. I think I have fixed it twice now. And each and every time the owner called me and told me that it wasn't working a couple of days later again. He even went to a very specialized Mercedes dealer in Denmark who also fixed it, and then a couple of days later the system was empty once again. What I think is the problem is that this system is really neglected, and therefore there are leaks all over the place, and each and every time you fix something you think, oh, that's the leak, now I got it fixed, and then another thing pops up. But I think we are pretty close to getting everything fixed now, but let's see. But what I have found now is a big problem that needs to be fixed, and it's rather easy to see that we have a leak because the engine bay is extremely dirty. This engine was actually rebuilt a couple of years back, and it really doesn't look that way now because, as you can see, we have oil all over the place. And what I found out this time is that hose right there is rubbing up against the nut back there and has developed a hole. And this hose is the high pressure that goes to the hydraulic pump right there. There is an incredibly high pressure, and that I can't remember. It's maybe 250 psi or something like that. It's really high, maybe even higher. So that hole is no good, and it's just spraying the hydraulic fluid all over the engine. So yeah, and the system, of course, empties itself, and then the rear of the car will lower down, and then yeah. So what I hope to do today is to remove that hose and fix it. Like this. And here we have the hose off the Mercedes, and as you can see, this is the problematic area. I don't know how well this will pick up because it is hard to focus, but we have a big hole from that nut right there. And it's actually amazing that it wasn't leaking more, but this hose is a double hose. It is really strong. I think it's rated for 4,000 psi or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So that's a testament to durability, I think, because remember, this car is old and used, very used. I'm going to attempt to fix this. Mercedes had a really nice philosophy when they built this car, because these are serviceable. Normally you have to get new fittings pushed onto a new hydraulic line and all that, but apparently these are supposed to be able to be screwed apart and put onto a new hose so you could do it yourself. I have never tried it, so let's see how it works. There should be a lot of fittings inside of here in the plastic hose, some filters and stuff, which is important to put back in the right order. That's what I heard at least, but let's just try and see if we can take it apart and put a new hose on it. That would be nice. So it would be really nice to have a vise that could clamp onto something round. I don't have that, not in this size at least. So I'm going to attempt to use a vise grip to hold the flat side of it. Not the flat, the round side of it. And hopefully that will be clamping hard enough for it to work. Like that. And then I'm gonna put the vise grip into the vise. Like that. Oh, that was incredibly easy. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to fight this all night. Well, that was easy. And now it's really good to be filming stuff, because now I can always look at the footage if I lose track of something, because apparently it is a bit more complicated than just this, I think. There we go. Wow. Interesting. Oh yeah. Here it comes. It is coming loose. I think this is maybe left-hand threaded on. So it's just threaded onto the rubber. Interesting. And then we have those plastic filter thingies down there that we also need to get out. It has now dropped quite far down into the tube. There we go. It was there. I wonder if there's any... Yeah, there's more down there. Apparently. One more. And more. So I think I got all of them out. There was a lot. I think actually it's just the full length of the hose that got that. Let's try to detach the other side as well. And now I know that there are supposed to be those plastic bits inside. I'm not gonna clamp the hose in the vise ever again. Don't do it either. I think you could damage them. So I'm gonna try to see if I can grab a hold of it with the wires like this, and then hopefully it's just as loose. This could be really easy to strip. I would advise to get an open ring spanner or whatever they are called, because they would fit it better, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to hope it's as loose as the other side. It's working fine. This has turned out to be a bit more easy than I had thought it would be, but I could be talking too early, because I'm still having to put this all back on another hydraulic hose, remember? But I really like that this is reusable. It's amazing. Job done. There are more of those plastic bits inside. And it seems to be another color. So maybe that's the last one. Yep, a red one. So it's actually been a couple of days since the last clip because I bought a piece of hydraulic hose. I just bought it from the specification of pressure needed and took it home. And then when I was trying to fit those connections, it turned out that this is not even near thick enough for the connections to work. Getting the hydraulic hose that fits the old one is going to be a challenge because there's not a lot of options apparently, at least not in my country. As far as I know, Gates makes a hose that fits. I haven't tried that, but I've heard it works. I can't remember the name, but I will leave it right here. I couldn't get that one, but by measuring dimensions, I found this, which is a Parker hose called 301 SN/6. It's rated for 330 bars hose, but the important bit is the outside, and the outside is almost exactly like the old one. So I clamped the hose into the vise, not with a lot of force. I don't want to distort the inner dimension. And then this one goes on first. Inside of here is a thread. I think it will be slightly difficult to see. It's a left-handed thread, so to spin it on we need to go this way. Like this. Then this should just go into this and expand the hose. It could be difficult. You should be careful not to strip the thread, of course. And now I need to grab it with this one again. It's not really hard, and I don't think it's supposed to be really hard if it's binding up too much. If it is binding up too much, I think you should take it out and lubricate it and all that, because we don't want to strip this thread. And also this needs to withstand quite an extreme high pressure, so it needs to be tight. Like that. Now I need to measure this hose and cut it in the same length as the old one. And then we need to put in all those rubber insets. I think if we don't put those in, it will be very noisy, like an old hydraulic crane or something like that. You know, the sound, and you don't want the car to sound like that all the time. So I actually ended up doing a recut with the angle grinder to just make it a bit more clean. I have no experience in working in hydraulic hoses, so don't know what the best thing to do really is. Now I'm just gonna clamp it on really loosely, and then we're going to put in all those plastic bits in the complete same direction as I took them out, with the red one in the end. That's important. When I look at them, it looks like they are going to restrict the flow quite a lot, and that's maybe the function of it really, to not make the pressure go around too quickly. I don't know. They are important, that is all I know. So I'm gonna fit them. And the last one is this red one that goes in like that. And then it's the same deal with the other fitting. So firstly spin this one on counterclockwise. This hose, by the way, is no longer possible to buy from the factory. So you will have to either fix it like this or get a completely new one made in a hydraulic shop. It shouldn't be a big problem, I think. But I do believe it's very important to tell the hydraulic shop about those plastic insets and give them to them, because I'm pretty sure that without them, it will be incredibly noisy, this system. There is gaskets on this that I would like to take off because, yeah, I don't think they will be good to use twice. So I'm gonna replace them with copper gasket and hope that will do the trick. I'm pretty sure it will. So new copper washers on each side. There we go. So before I refit the new hose, I want to address the problem on this bracket. This bracket holds the hose, but it is slightly bent inwards, and that I think is the reason why it has been touching the nut inside of here and made a hole in the old one. So I'm just going to try to see if I can bend it out a little bit so it points a bit away from that, but not so much that it points into the blade, of course. So with the new hose now assembled, it's clever that you can reuse these fittings. I'm beginning to have quite a lot of respect for this old car. That's a brilliant thing. Normally hydraulic work is impossible to do in your own workshop without some pretty expensive equipment, but this is just fine. So I really like that. I'm gonna fit it and then we'll see if it all works. Now the hose is back on the car, and I have made sure to route it away from that nut and also away from this wing into all the holders down there and all the way to the connection back here. So now we're going to fire it up and see if it's tight, and if it is, then it's good to go. So everything seems to be tight on the new hose. So now I'm really crossing my fingers that this system is going to work. Remember, there's been a lot of leaks in this system. I think this is the last one. There could be others. It seems to be holding pressure and everything is nice. So yeah, I think that's a fix. Anyway, thank you for watching. And I might make a video more on this, on the exhaust system. I haven't really decided. It's a lot of fun working on this car. I really should get my hands on one of these at one point, but enough about that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support I get, and see you in the next one.